The latest watch from VSA is the Air Pro Automatic. The stainless steel case is 43 millimeters, and it's the same case design that VSA has been using for a while now, that started initially with the Journey 1884 and has now made its way to many models, including the Inox and the Dive Pro, which I reviewed last year. The Air is a pilot's watch using the Sellita SW330-2 movement, which when combined with the GMT hand and the two 24-hour scales on the dial will allow you to track 3 time zones. As usual, it can be had in a few colors and strap versions. This one is the all-black dial in the stainless steel case, and it's the only way that it can be had on a bracelet, and the price is currently $1,900. If you choose a rubber strap model, it's going to be $1,700. I had them send the bracelet model because, well, this is, I believe, a brand new bracelet for VSA, and it's quite an attractive and comfortable bracelet as well. I'll talk more about the bracelet, the case, and the overall functionality of the Air Pro in this video, so let's get to it. Alright, this is a brand new model, but as I said, this case is similar to other VSA models, as this style of case seems to be the default for most of their lineup these days, with a few tweaks here and there depending on the function and type of model. This one is a dual crown, but obviously it's not a dive watch. Rather, that 2 o'clock crown will turn the inner 24-hour bezel to track another time zone. It's 43 millimeters with a 51 millimeter lug-to-lug, more on that later, and it's ISO rated and shock resistant up to 200 meters. There's a lot to like here with this new Air Pro, but you have to love a busy dial if you're going to wear this watch, as there is a lot going on between the radial dial texture, the multi-date cutout, GMT inner-outer track, and the world time track. There's a lot going on, but if you want to track 3 time zones on an analog watch, well, it's going to be a busy dial. Fortunately, the hour and minute hand are large enough to allow for easy standard time reading at a glance, though the GMT hand being skeletonized with the yellow arrow tip against the yellow 24-hour scale can be a little hard to read. Again, the hands will look familiar if you have seen or owned the Dive Pro models, the new Inox, or Journey models. The main crown, your 4 o'clock crown, does screw down, and beyond setting your standard time, it also adjusts the date and allows you to move that GMT hand. The 2 o'clock crown does not screw down, and it's bidirectional and allows you to move the inner 24-hour bezel. As usual with Swiss Army, at least models within the last 5 years or so, I think they can do better with the lume application. It's a touch spotty in parts, and it's not impressive in low light, but I will say in full darkness it does glow nicely, and it's going to actually last a good 4 to 5 hours. It's just not going to blow you away if you are a lume junkie. Now, I will tell you the one area I don't love, and that's that outer fixed bezel. It's got 10-minute markings and all, which is really not needed, but the big issue I have is the finish. It's all highly polished, almost mirror polished, and I'm just not sure why. It's going to get scratched up easily, and I wish they had blasted it like they did the grip portions of the crowns. Everything else is brushed on this watch, the case top and the sides, the case back, all except the outer edges of the bracelet, but more on the bracelet shortly. The case back, again, will look pretty similar if you have seen any of the new VSA models, and since this is an automatic, it does have a sapphire crystal exhibition case back, allowing you to see that Sellita SW330-2 movement. Only problem is that the etching of the Swiss Army knife is covering it up, and I know many do not agree with me, but I just do not care for this etching on the glass. On a solid case back, okay, it looks fine, but it hinders your look at the movement, which is the whole point of a see-through back, is to see that said movement. The bracelet, as I stated in the intro, is new, or at least I don't ever remember seeing it before, and if I'm incorrect, feel free to let me know in the comments. At first glance, it looks similar to the new bracelet on the latest Inox models, but this is different. These are small rectangle bar links with an inner connector piece, and it's dual finished. The bars satin brushed while that connector piece is blasted, which again brings me back to the fixed bezel, as I think it would have been more cohesive to have that bezel match the crowns and the inner parts of the bracelet. But I'm just a watch reviewer, not a designer, so maybe I'm way off. I just know I would have preferred it that way. Now, that said, this is quite an interesting bracelet, but there are a few things to point out, especially if you have small wrists and are considering this watch. The end link not only extends out and does not drop down, but neither does the link after that. Rather, it's essentially the third link where the bracelet drapes and drops down. What does that mean? Well, it means a very long length on the case. Now, it depends on how you measure it, but you're at least looking at 55 millimeters in length with those end links added in. If you have smaller wrists than mine, you might want to keep that in mind. Now, for reference, I have a 7.5 inch or 19.05 centimeter wrist, and as you can see, it fits on my wrist, but it's definitely at the maximum length I can wear. Any longer, and it would just be jutting off my wrist. The bracelet, beyond being very attractive though, is very solid and has a good weight to it, and it's easy to size as it uses friction pins, though I assume many would prefer screws. The clasp and deployment are kind of a mixed bag. The clasp itself is small, and you really just have a dual deployment push button underneath, so the clasp is really just a safety closure, if you will, and not really needed. And there are no half links or micro adjustment holes either, but the links themselves are not very large. Now, as it comes, it's a pretty large bracelet, and it should easily fit up to an 8.5 inch or 21.59 centimeter wrist. Now, the bracelet does have a new feature though, at least for VSA, and that is a quick release pin button mechanism. It's somewhat similar to what's on a Formex Reef Diver, but not exact, and I've seen this style of button on rubber straps before for smartwatches, and there's some pros and cons here. The pro is it's relatively easy to attach it to the case. The con, not so easy to remove, at least not on my example. Now, maybe it needs to be worked in a bit, but I find myself having to push on the button multiple times and pushing up on the lug area awkwardly. Again, not sure if it's just this example, if it will loosen up over time, or I've just not gotten the hang of it yet. As it is right now, it can be looked at as a pro as well, as it won't be popping off. When it's snapped in, it's snapped in. Now, if this all sounds like a bother, well, you can save $200 and get one of the other stainless or black DLC models with the rubber strap, which has the standard lever style quick release. Those are my thoughts on the VSA Air Pro. Now, I generally like it. Yes, it's busy, but that's to be expected. But with the exception of the polished bezel, I may prefer the overall look of this model over the Dive Pro. The two crowns suit this case design more than I thought they would, and I love the look of this new bracelet. What are your thoughts on this Air Pro? Is it too busy, too expensive, or do you find it just perfect for you? Head to the comments and let me know. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, and I will see you next time.